Hello guys, just before I start today's video, just want to quickly come on here and announce that we have now gone and brought back our monthly membership. We're now only charging a very small fee of $29. Go over to dailymarketmovements.com, click on subscribe to join my trading team. You don't want to miss out. But today we're going to be analyzing the NASDAQ100 futures chart. Now for those who follow my channel, you would probably recognize that I did actually in fact post a video for the NASDAQ100 yesterday morning, but I wanted to come back onto YouTube this evening just to let you all know, because I think in yesterday's video I was saying that a potential catalyst, which at this moment in time is a headwind, that being the tensions between the Ukraine and Russia. I said that it could potentially go from a headwind into a tailwind, and it could actually become a very bullish catalyst for the markets going forward if we were to get any good news. One piece of good news that I did highlight could potentially happen was a ceasefire. Now, about 30 minutes after I published a video on YouTube yesterday, sure enough, I got a notification from CNBC, from BBC News, Sky News, most other news channels, saying that there had been an agreed ceasefire in two large cities in Ukraine, and this was to help civilians leave. Now, I wanted to come onto YouTube because I know that there's probably quite a few of you who obviously have seen news for the ceasefire yesterday. There was another ceasefire for this afternoon as well, like a 9-hour period where the Russian forces were apparently going to allow civilians to leave these two large cities where there's expected to be around 200,000 Ukrainians still living there. Now, normally what happens in a ceasefire is that fighting would stop for, a certain amount of time, whether that be a day, sometimes it can be a week, sometimes it can be as long as 2 weeks. And what typically happens during a ceasefire is that, whoever's got the tension, so in this case, Ukraine and Russian, you'd typically expect the officials to go and, try and find a path out of this, to go and negotiate for an end to this war. But this time round, that is not the case. So there's probably a lot of traders out there who watch my videos who are probably expecting the futures to get up higher today because there's been a ceasefire announced between Russia and Ukraine. I wanted to come onto YouTube today to highlight the fact that this ceasefire that's just been announced is actually not a good thing from where I am standing. Why? Well, that's because I think Russia's going to use this to their benefit over the next couple of days. Okay, they're going to allow these innocent people to leave. As I mentioned, there's expected to be around 200,000 individuals still living in these two large cities. And then once these people have been allowed to leave their homes and maybe go to Kiev or go to the Polish border where they can then become a refugee, Russia is then going to say, well, okay, anyone that we see now in these two large cities is now going to be an enemy. We've given them the opportunity to leave, so I would not be surprised if over the next couple of days we do see fighting intensify. I think that we're going to see more airstrikes, and I think that this kind of goes for the next week or two. I think Putin at the moment will be very, very angry. This invasion hasn't gone to his initial plans. He was expected to overrule the whole of Ukraine within 14 days, within 2 weeks, and apparently behind the scenes, of course, I don't know this personally. I don't know him personally, of course, but from what I've heard and what I've done, what I've seen from my research is that Putin is expected to be extremely angry behind the scenes, that it's taking a lot longer than what he initially thought. And as well as that, it was announced this morning that there's now been 11,000 Russian soldiers that have been killed, and that is a very large number. And of course, the Russian people will find that out. And of course, that's going to be causing a lot of tension between the Russian people and Putin. So I do fully anticipate for it to get a lot worse over the upcoming days. Personally, if you do not have a position open at this moment in time in the indices, I would probably keep it that way, because one headline and it can just, it can literally dictate where the NASDAQ100, the S&P 500, or the Dow Jones 30 trades within the next couple of hours. We saw some news. I think it was on Thursday evening or Friday early morning, depending where you live in the globe, about of course when Russia started shelling near the nuclear plant. Now that type of stuff, you just can't forecast it. You cannot forecast it. And of course, if that nuclear plant was to have exploded, it would have been devastating for Europe, for Ukraine, and most probably for Putin as well. So it's almost impossible to kind of predict day to day what could potentially happen between this war Putin is a very, very loose cannon, and it's very hard to predict. Foolish people like him, trying to predict their next move is extremely difficult. So if I was you and you're a retail trader, you've just started trading, I would personally just sit on the sidelines for the next couple of weeks. I did say this about 2 weeks ago. I said, sit on the sidelines, wait for the dust to settle, don't trade. And that actually turned out to be the right decision, as I think that was actually last Thursday when we had that massive pull down all the way down to 13,050. If your time horizon is more medium to longer term, then yeah, sure, this could be a fantastic buying opportunity, but do not trade with a slight top loss. You want to be putting a stop loss down, perhaps down near 12,000 to go and target up towards 17 or even 18,000 for the NASDAQ 100. You want to make sure you've got that good risk reward ratio. But I thought I would just come on to YouTube just to kind of give you an update, because at this moment in time, headlines are moving very, very fast with regards to the tensions between Ukraine and Russia. And I just kind of wanted to come out here and update you all with regards to the ceasefire. This ceasefire is not like your typical ceasefire. I think it's a tactical move from Russia, so that that kind of allows them to intensify the fighting over the next couple of days and weeks.